Hello everyone. It is one of my favorite times of the month, which is time for deck of panning. I'm sure you can see I'm not at home right now. I am filming from a hotel room, but basically it's this or I don't get to play this month, and that is unacceptable. This is my favorite panning project. I get to play this month. Obviously, because I wasn't able to pack along my entire makeup collection. Most of the products that I'm going to be talking about today, I'm not going to have here physically to show you, and I'll have to put pictures up on this side of the screen. I'm also going to be drawing my new products from memory, which obviously is going to add like another level of difficulty to this whole situation, but I think I can do it. Listen, if it's a total flop, you'll never see this video, and there just won't be a deck of panning this month. So if you're seeing it, it worked. So let's take a look at the products that I picked last month, and we'll talk about how I did with them. The one product last month that I had rolling through from the previous month was my NARS Narcissist palette. This was a palette that I rolled in back in January for the prompt In It for the Long Haul. So I set the goal of 50 uses for this palette, and I think by the February update, I had used it 19 times. However, since that February update, I have only used it 6 times. I have really been focusing hard on my 50 Shades of Black project pan because that one is about to wrap up. So I kind of deprioritized the NARS palette over this last month, which is fine. I'm only up to 25 of 50 uses, so we're halfway there. I am perfectly okay having the palette in there for a while longer. It is an incredibly useful palette. I think it's distinct from my other face palettes in that every single product in there is useful to me, and I like using all of them. I do love me a good face palette, but that is one of the drawbacks of getting a whole bunch of products in one. In most cases, there's going to be at least one product that you don't reach for. But with the NARS palette, I reach for everything, which makes it a really, really flexible and useful palette. So I'm happy to have that roll through and work on it for another couple of months. I actually have 6 products I'm working on right now. Usually it's only 5, but last month I drew the pick up 2 card. So we have 6 products here. One of them is Staying In, that's the NARS palette. I also drew the prompt Oh the Shame, which is for a product you've purchased but have not yet used. And for that, I pulled in my Eliza Becca Milky Piggy Carbonated Bubble Clay Mask. It's my favorite clay mask, but I drew it for 5 uses. Usually I go by the number on the card that I have drawn, and that was the number on the card. 5 uses in a month for a mask is unusual for me. I usually don't mask once a week. And in this case, I was gonna have to mask a little bit more than once a week. So I managed to get 4 out of my 5 uses. I still need to get that 5th use, which I will as soon as I get home. However, because I'm so close to meeting that goal, I'm still gonna draw another card in its place. So I will have that extra product to play with over the next month. I also got the prompt SPF, and for that, I actually have the product to show you. This is my favorite sunscreen. It is the Biore UV Aqua Rich Watery Essence SPF 50. This is just such a lovely one. This is not the American version. This is the Japanese version, which I haven't even tried the American version, to be honest. Why fix something that's not broken? I might eventually try the US version just to see how it stacks up against this one, but for now, I'm perfectly content with this. I had that one rolled in for 5 uses as well, but I went ahead and used it 10 times. This is just such a nice little sunscreen, and I had finished up the other one that I was working on, so I went ahead and got a little extra credit on this one. Then I pulled the prompt Baby Goal, and I interpreted that one kind of loosely, I guess, because I go for usage goals and I go by the number on the card. A lot of my goals are what people would consider baby goals. So I decided to pull in all of my MAC lipsticks. I have 7 of them, and use each of them once. Hence the baby goal, it's 1 use per lipstick. And I did meet that goal. Here are the MAC lipsticks that I own. I have Mare, I think that's how it's pronounced, which is just a tiny little mini. I have Thanks It's MAC, Blankety, Laissez-Faire, Modesty, Cool Teddy, Bated Breath, and Soar. And I used each of those at least once over the last month. Then I got the prompt Matches Nails. My nails were pink and white at the time, so I decided to pull in my giant Physicians Formula Muru Muru Butter Collection palette. It is an enormous palette. I will put a picture of me holding up that palette on screen. It is enormous. It has every single one of their butter products that was created. I don't know if it's all of them that have ever been created, but up to that date, that was all of them that had been produced. So I rolled that in for 9 uses, and I actually used it 14 times because I was just enjoying those bronzers so much. Those butter bronzers, I'd forgotten. It had been a while since I reached for that palette, so I'd kind of forgotten how nice those bronzers are, but they are gorgeous. They are so nice. I also dipped into their blushes and their highlighters. The highlighters aren't my favorite formula, but they are nice enough. I did not reach for the lip products or the eyeshadows this time around just because I had so many products from those categories in other projects that I was really trying to get my uses on. However, I really enjoyed dipping into this palette. I'm gonna need to pull it into another project because I really did enjoy it, and it is a little neglected in my collection. I need to get more use out of that thing. Last, I drew the prompt mini or sample, and for that I rolled in this little blister pack of the Dior Backstage Concealer. I have used this 9 times so far, and you guys, there is so much product left. There is so much product left in there. I know, I'm sorry, it's very messy. I actually need to scoop this out into another container because it's gonna dry out, and it is kind of grossing me out a little bit. But so far I have used that 9 times, and I seem to have a lot to go. So we'll see how long that takes for me to finish up. That will also be rolling over to next month. So that means I have 3 cards to draw today. Like everything else I don't have with me today, I also don't have a pack of cards with me. So I'm going to be using this random playing card shuffler from the site missingdice.com. I actually used this when I first started playing Deck of Panning. I didn't have a deck of cards. So I actually used this for several months before my husband bought me a deck of cards. I'm going to go into options first though. You can select, I don't know if you guys can see this, but you can select red joker or black joker, and I'm gonna go ahead and select the red joker right here. And we'll shuffle and then draw some cards. So the first card is, can you even see with the glare? Okay, it's 8 of spades. Then we got the 2 of hearts. No, the 5 of hearts. It's hard to read backwards. And then the 6 of clubs. Okay, let's take a look at the game board. I'm gonna screen cap that for you as usual so you can look at it along with me. Okay, this is the game board. Emily shuffles this for us every single month, so even if you pull the same card 2 months in a row, you won't get the same prompt. I have actually gotten the same prompt 2 months in a row, but that was by pulling different cards for that prompt. What are the chances? Okay, the first card that I pulled was the 8 of spades, which is over here. This is a non-makeup item. The next one that I pulled was the 5 of hearts, and that is home. I actually don't know what that means, so I'm gonna go over here to the prompts key. Let's see what that means. Home. A brand from your country, inspired by your country, or a product that feels like coming home, a comforting product. Okay, I don't know if that's a new prompt, but I have never pulled that before. That will be interesting. Then I pulled the 6 of clubs, which is out of your hands. Last time I did this, I actually put a number of my makeup products in a box, and I had my husband pick for me. I do have a few makeup products that I have brought with me on this trip, and I'm just gonna have to put those in front of him and allow him to choose. So I have got to think a little bit and pick my products for the other 2 prompts, and then I will have my husband choose from the makeup I brought with me. Okay, I am back and I have chosen my products. This was hard. I mean, I knew it was going to be, since I am pulling from memory, not from actually being able to see my collection in front of me. And also because one of the prompts kind of stumped me a little bit, but I am really happy with what I have come up with. So the first prompt was the 8 of spades, and that was for a non-makeup item. And I have plenty of like skincare items or fragrance items that I'm already using that I could have pulled from, and that would have been very easy to just continue to use the things I'm already using and count those uses toward this project. However, I decided I wanted to choose something that I haven't used a lot recently that I would like to use. So I decided to pull in my Dear My Dew Tranexamic Acid Serum. I'll put up a little picture of it here. This is a serum that I have been through many bottles of. I actually think I finished a bottle of this in my 50 Shades of Brown project pan that wrapped up last April. However, I have not used this since before I had my baby. I actually had it on a subscription delivery situation where it would show up at my door every month or 6 weeks or something like that. But I had to pause that because I wasn't using it. And once I had a backup of my backup, I was like, okay, no more. We gotta hit pause on this. But I really did enjoy the serum, and the way that I enjoyed using it the most was I loved mixing it into my ordinary L-ascorbic acid powder, which was also rolled into my 50 Shades of Brown, but I was not able to complete. I have not used either of these since before I had my baby, so it has been a minute. She is 10 months old now, and I really would like to reincorporate them into my skincare routine because I really do think they made a difference in my skin. It's just been slow going, getting myself back into using a regular skincare routine, and I really started with just the basics, so I'm ready to add a few new steps in there. So I'm going to be rolling in the Dear My Do tranexamic acid serum and my L-ascorbic acid powder in as kind of like a dual product for this prompt. And I'm going to be rolling it in for 8, is it 8? Yeah, it was the 8 of spades. So I'm going to be rolling those in together for 8 uses. The next prompt was really hard for me. I really had to think about this for a while to figure out how to interpret this prompt. The prompt was for the 5 of hearts, and that was home. That's a prompt I've never gotten before. It's supposed to be a product that was created in your home country or reminds you of your home country or feels like home and is very comforting to you. And I was really struggling to figure out which of my products would fit any of those definitions. I don't have any products that are explicitly themed for the United States, which is my home country, and I don't have my physical products in front of me to check where they were made. So I was thinking about my BH Cosmetics travel palettes. I have a few of those. I have Trendy in Tokyo, I have Passion in Paris, and I have Lost in Los Angeles. And while Los Angeles is probably one of my least favorite places on this planet, it is in the United States. So I'm going to pull my Lost in Los Angeles palette into this project. I'm going to pull a shadow from that palette 5 times over the next month. I was going to say any shadow from that palette, but I know if I just give myself carte blanche with that palette, I'm going to go into that white shade, my favorite shade in the palette. It's the best white I have ever used in my life. I'm just going to go into that shade 5 times. So in order to make it a little more challenging and to force me to experience a little bit more of my makeup, which is honestly the point of this project for me, and really all of my panning goals is to get me to use more of my makeup. So I am going to go into that palette for 5 different shadows. So each time I use it, I have to use a different shadow. I think that'll be a little bit of a challenge, but that's what makes it fun. Okay, so the last prompt that I got was Out of Your Hands. I haven't gotten this one for ages. The last time I got this one was back in 2024, and I put a bunch of my products in a box and I had my husband choose from them. So I went through the makeup that I brought with me and I pulled out a few products. A lot of them are already in other projects. That's why I brought them with me so I could continue to work on them. But I had a few products here that are not in other projects and haven't recently been in other projects. So I laid all of those out and I let him choose, and I'll put that footage in now. Before you start, I need you to know I like everything here.
Okay.
And will enjoy using it. Even this one is still in the packaging. I haven't used it yet, but I will like it. I know I will like it.
Okay.
So I know that's what you're thinking. Which one will I like best? But I will like any of these. So pick any one you want to.
Are any of these lipsticks?
There are some lipsticks.
Yeah.
Well, there's one lipstick.
You know which one it is.
Do you want to know? Okay, this one is a lipstick.
Okay.
That's like a lip gloss stain situation.
And how many of these do I need to make?
Just one.
Just one? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I'll make it fair.
How are you going to make it fair? You're not drawing cards. Yes. Okay, thank you.
That was fair. My eyes were closed. I moved them around.
This is my Huda Beauty lipstick in the shade Girls Trip. I do really like it. Thank you, sweetheart. I'm really happy with the one that he picked. This is my Huda Beauty lipstick in the shade Girls Trip. I actually have this same lipstick in the shade Interview, currently rolled into my 50 Shades of Black project pan, but I really like both of them. This one's a little pinker. That's what it looks like. Let's put it on. I was just editing another video, and in that video I put on a lipstick too. I don't know why it is and I always feel the need to apply lipstick on camera. But that is Girls Trip. What does that need? I feel like that needs just like a really cool kind of grayish lip liner. Okay, this is Ashton from ColourPop. I think that'll be perfect. I've been really enjoying kind of the cooler gray lip liner with something a little pinkier at the center. And this is kind of perfect for that. Okay, that's Girls Trip paired with Ashton. I also think that would be really nice with Brooklyn Thorn for something a little bit deeper, or Maybelline's Gone Grayish would also be really nice with this. In any case, those are the 3 products that I will be rolling in for the next month. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.